My name is Thomas Woltz, and it is my distinct honor and pleasure to lead the design team at Nelson Bird Woltz Landscape Architects to design the Ismaili Center, Houston, gardens, terraces, and landscapes. I'll begin describing the project by describing the site. It is the perfect site for an Islamic landscape in that it occupies a high plateau with a series of descending terraces toward the Buffalo Bayou River. There are many ancient precedents within the Islamic world of gardens with exactly this connection to the river. This project is oriented around a strong, powerful central axis that is a story of water. When you arrive to the central gate, you arrive to an octagonal basin that reflects the sky, the Garden of Light, surrounded by the dappled shade of large trees. Moving toward the building, you have a long axial basin that reflects the facade of the building and the sky that draws from important Persian precedents like Bagh-i-Fin gardens. The building is inseparable from the landscape. The two cannot function without one another. So an example of this is the four corners of the building mark the entrances to the social hall and the education wing, and each has a garden tailored to the different uses of the inside of the building. This rear terrace offers a transition from the primary building to the gardens below, a very broad terrace with pleached live oaks that will offer a shade base to the facade of the building. You overlook the most brightly colored of all the gardens, the Woltz garden. It is a collection of flowering shrubs and perennials that will be dazzling year-round. Along the cross-axis of this garden are a series of small basins or fountains, again supporting pollinators, but also that essential element in the Islamic garden, water, the source of life. Below the Woltz terrace, there is a cascade of stairs that are a shaded amphitheater with ramping walks to either side that allow universal accessibility to all of the gardens. Below this amphitheater is the Great Lawn, a sunken lawn that can hold up to 3,000 spectators for a lecture, for a musical concert, for any kind of large gathering. So if you imagine this stage has two sides for very large gatherings or more intimate gatherings on the seating. The Great Lawn is flanked by mixed rows of trees and large shrubs to create an immersive quality of nature for the penultimate garden. Moving closer to the Buffalo Bayou River, you come to the final garden, and this large circular meadow landscape serves as a sponge to floodwaters and heavy rains in the Houston climate, contributing to the prevention of flooding downstream and in downtown. When you exit through the cafe or the library to the backside of the building, you have long views out over the Buffalo Bayou River and the Buffalo Bayou Park. So this has been one of the most exciting aspects for us, is a deep commitment on the part of His Highness and the project leadership to these landscapes brought to Houston. In our 10 years of dialogue, he has always emphasized the importance of these garden rooms for gathering people, for reflection, for events, but also for quiet contemplation and meditation. This will be a joyful landscape, full of color year-round. The Ismaili Cultural Center will take its place amongst these extraordinary landscapes, but it fills a void that was missing, a void of representing global Muslim culture as it relates to the landscape. Now this will find a home in this state and in this city. Each project that we've worked on with His Highness over the last 10 years has sought to do exactly this, to take a tradition of Muslim landscape architecture but adapt it to whatever situation that we find ourselves in, whether it's a rooftop in London, close to the Arctic Circle in Alberta, or in the Gulf Coast of Houston, Texas. For me, it is a poetic parallel to the resilience of the Muslim people who find themselves adapting to different cultures around the world. This project has the opportunity to educate and instruct according to the lessons of His Highness the Aga Khan in tolerance and pluralism. It is my sincere hope that this project brings greater understanding to the beauty and complexity of the history of the Muslim world, and that the landscape of the Ismaili Center Houston will serve to increase the understanding of this extraordinary culture and its rich history.